My daughter was 5. And at our Christmas reunion, I heard my East Asian wife agree to hide her like she was nothing.
Brad Hayden always believed that love, not blood, is what truly makes a family. When he married the love of his life, Grace Lewis, he didn't just get a wife, he got a daughter. Her name was Emma. She was just 5 years old, a shy and gentle little girl, but Brad fell in love with her instantly. Within a year, he had officially adopted her, making a silent promise to himself that he would protect this precious child with everything he had. But Grace's family, the Robinsons, saw things very differently. They were wealthy, proud, and obsessed with what they called their bloodline. Lorraine, Grace's icy mother, never missed a chance to make it painfully clear that in her eyes, Emma was not real family. For Grace's sake, Brad tried his best to ignore their cutting remarks and their cold shoulders, always hoping that one day they would see Emma for the wonderful girl she was. So, when Lorraine invited them to the Grand Robinson family Christmas reunion at the sprawling Whitmore Manor, Brad's first instinct was to say no. But then he saw Emma's face light up. She had never been to a big family gathering before, and the thought of a huge Christmas party with cousins and presents filled her with excitement. Seeing her so happy, Brad couldn't refuse. He agreed, telling himself it was just for a week. The moment they stepped through the massive doors of Whitmore Manor, a chill went down Brad's spine, and it had nothing to do with the winter air. The place was filled with about 30 relatives, all chattering and laughing, but the warmth of the season didn't extend to Emma. She was treated like a ghost, an outsider they were forced to tolerate. During the big family photo session, the photographer was instructed to take one with just the family, and Emma was gently pushed to the side. Later, when it was time to open presents, the other children tore open packages revealing expensive toys and gadgets. Emma's gifts were cheap, thoughtless trinkets that looked like they were picked up at a gas station on the way there. Brad's heart ached with every small, polite, "Thank you," she whispered. He overheard Grace's siblings, Carol and Mitch, whispering in a corner, their voices laced with venom. They talked about the importance of keeping the bloodline pure. Their words were like daggers. Brad looked at Grace, hoping to see a spark of outrage, some sign that she would stand up for their daughter. But she just stood there, her face a mask of conflict, torn between her family's approval and her daughter's dignity. She saw everything, but she said nothing. Brad decided then and there that if Grace wouldn't protect Emma, he would. He pulled his focus away from the toxic relatives and put it all on his little girl. He became her shield. They built snowmen in the frosty gardens. He read her stories by the fire, and he took her for long walks through the snowy woods, making sure she was always by his side. Always feeling his love, so the family's coldness couldn't touch her. He just had to survive the week. Just a few more days, and he could take her home, back to their safe, happy life. On the third night of their stay, Brad woke up in the middle of the night to an empty space beside him in bed. Grace was gone. A knot of dread tightened in his stomach. He quietly got up and started searching the vast, silent manor, room after empty room, until he saw a sliver of light coming from under the library door. He crept closer, hearing hushed voices inside. He pushed the door open just a crack and peered in. There she was, Grace, standing with her mother Lorraine and her siblings, Mitch and Carol. They were talking about Emma. Their voices were calm, detached, and utterly cold, discussing his daughter as if she were a piece of furniture that was in the way, a problem to be managed. Lorraine was insisting that for the remaining more formal family events, Emma needed to be kept out of sight. It wouldn't look right, she argued. Mitch readily agreed, saying it was for the best. Carol chimed in with her support. Brad held his breath, waiting, praying for Grace to unleash the fury he felt building inside him. He waited for her to defend their daughter, to tell them how monstrous they were being. But the final blow, the one that shattered his heart into a million pieces, came from his own wife. Grace hesitated for a moment, her eyes flickering with a conflict he couldn't decipher. And then she nodded. She agreed. She promised to keep Emma out of the way. Brad felt the floor drop out from under him. The woman he loved, the mother of his child, had just chosen her family's cold approval over their daughter's heart. He backed away from the door, his mind numb. He returned to their room and looked down at the sleeping angel in the small guest bed. Emma's face was so peaceful, so innocent. She was completely unaware of the betrayal that had just taken place. He knelt beside her bed, his hand trembling as he gently brushed a strand of hair from her forehead. A single tear rolled down his cheek as he leaned in and whispered into her ear, a promise that was now forged in steel. "I won't let them hurt you. I promise." In that moment, he knew he wasn't just getting through the week anymore. He was getting her out, no matter what it took. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by Brad's story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.